Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we are going to be live on YouTube testing a bunch of different decks ahead of this upcoming weekend's historic qualifier. So this is going to be historic best of 3, and there's a card that I really want to try out in a bunch of different shells today, and we're going to see which one plays out. I think it's very strong. It's been showing up a lot in Modern, and that is Ketramose, the New Dawn. 3 mana, 4/4, Menace, Lifelink, Indestructible. Can attack or block unless there are 7 or more cards in exile. Either your exile, opponent's exile, as long as it's exiled. But then it has a really nice card engine to it. So whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyard, during your turn specifically, you draw a card and lose a life. So it's a way to kind of refill your hand, which when we were playing the Sorin piles last week, we sometimes ran out of card. So this is something that I want to try out to see how it plays out. So this list came from Untapped. It's from Truly Wooly. They went like 77%. So this one is a Oculus Reanimator deck. So we got Oculus in here that we can play around with. We have the Emperor of Bones Ulamog combo. So how this works, you have to be in full control, put some stops on. We'll hopefully get it in demo. But you exile the Ulamog from your graveyard. You then make a copy of it. It comes in as Adapt. It sees itself in exile. It gets haste right away, and you basically annihilate your opponent's entire board. You get that combination of cards together, you basically ruin your opponent's day. This Psychic Frog card might be strong, so let's give it a shot. But this card's basically, if they don't answer, it takes over the game. So this can put discard stuff that you want to reanimate. You can also exile cards from your graveyard to give it flying, which then draws you cards off Ketramose. So there's kind of a combo there. And then we have Diviner of Fates. So an alchemy card, very strong here. 3 mana, 2/3. When it enters, it connives. You draw and discard. You put a counter on it if you discard it on land. But it has a really strong secondary effect. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, you seek a card with the same type of it, triggering once per turn. So you can do it on your turn or your opponent's turn. So you will have, basically, with Psychic Frog, you can discard on your opponent's turn and then draw a card. So it kind of nullifies the card disadvantage in a way of conniving, or just the neutral cards. So this kind of fills you and keeps going. The one thing I'm not sure of is only 2 Overlords. I've really liked Overlords. I would probably play more. The other card here that I don't think we're going to play in this is Shattered Sanctum. So this here, I'm going to play the new, and yeah, with the beach, I don't think the slow lines are where we want to be, so we're going to fix that right now. So I have Watery Grave, I don't have, so this should just be Overgrown, Godless Shrine, and this should be Temple, so let me just fix this. So I want 2 Godless Shrine, and I want a Hallowed Fountain. The slow lines, like, you don't want cards coming into play tapped. Hallowed. There is a potential to play the Verges, but it's not necessary. Kind of in there, so we have that. I think that's fine. So how the deck's going to work is we have a whole bunch of things to discard. Emperor Bones can bring stuff back. Then we have Helping Hand and an Earth that can bring back all our creatures that are small, 3 or less. We also have Bone Shards, which is discard and removal, and then Fragment, which is flexible removal. Sideboard, we have pretty clean sideboard. So we have, hate when it does it like this. We have Full Force Surgical Extractions for combo decks. We have Thoughtseize for hand hate, Fatal Pushes cheap removal, and then Lavinia. So this works really good against Lotus and Mono Green Devotion. Basically, opponents can't cast non-creature spells with mana value greater than the number of lands they control. Whenever an opponent casts a spell this way, we counter it. So it's a nice way to kind of do that. The one thing that this version, it's very much reliant on the graveyard. So I want to see post board, if they bring in a lot of graveyard hate, rest in peace. There's no like exercise. I guess Fragment could hit it in some cases, but that's just something we want to keep an eye on as we kind of play out the games themselves and kind of go from there. So that's the first list. And hey, well, yeah, so they'll all be on my Untapped after we play a game at least with each. So I have that one. We'll jump into games with it, but just as kind of a sampling, we'll try to get to all these decks. This is my update of the black-white one that I want to try. Emperor Bones, Viconia is another strong card that plays nicely, lets you copy stuff. So this is the Sorin Alenda combo. So there's that one, and then there's this one here that won a historic community tournament over the weekend. The only change I made was minus a Consider, minus Prismatic Ending for 2 Viconias, draw kind of discards. This one's kind of a hybrid where you have the Philocculus package, you have Tamiyo's in here, Diviner Fates kind of mixed in as well. So a couple different iterations of the deck that we can look at today and play out some games. But let's start with this. This is testing, so really when we're playing these games, I don't care about the win-loss record necessarily. I want to see how they play out, what things feel good, what things don't, as we kind of bring together a package. And that's what you should be looking at when you're testing, because you're going to get games where you might just draw like poorly, or your opponent happens to just have the stuff that aligns well with you. You want to see how consistent it is, effects like that. But let's get this to go. Timing wise on the Emperor of Bones, it's one of those you got to put a bunch of stops because the arena client likes to let you fast forward through. But Ketramose is a card that I'm really interested in. Want to see how it plays out as we go through these games. Okay, so playing a plat player. Opponent goes first. Yeah, so we can Overlord and then hopefully reanimate something early, so I think that's strong. So they are on Shifting Woodlands, most likely. They are doing combo stuff themselves. They have Wayfinder here. I think we're gonna hold this. Playing worse mana base with the Rock Veil. So they have sorcery, instant, land, enchantment. So they do have Delirium. So they can't do the Woodlands this turn, so we have a chance here. So this returns tapped, this returns untapped, so we'll probably do that. I do think, though, I'm probably gonna iffy, because I do want 2 mana up here. Probably bin the land. This is a match where Surgical is going to be really strong. Oh, I'm dumb. I took the creature to hand. That was silly. So I wasn't supposed to do that. Because now I had to leave it in the graveyard. That was my mistake. My brain was in autopilot, thinking about what we were going to do as opposed to actually doing it. I think we second Bailmerk here. So here we'll decline. Let's see what they play here. Since they're doing this, yeah, that was a mistake on my part, so learning. But they discard because they likely have it, so they're gonna go for Omniscience here. So I do want to try to just fragment it. Yeah. So they'll get to cast one thing here. If they have Ulamog, then they just beat me. Game 1 anyways, this is going to be tough. So they go Omniscience for the Omniscience. Fine. next game. Yeah, we had to hold up reality, but since they had double omniscience, we needed to find one of our graveyard pieces. So Lavinia is really good here. Surgical Extraction's good. I don't think we need Bone Shards. We're not really interacting early. Emperor of Bone's good because it's graveyard hate. I think Ketramose is probably too slow as a full set here. Can probably trim an Ulamog since we can also eat their graveyard, which plays nicely as well. I might just trim both of these. There's a question, do we want Thoughtseize? But like discarding's not, because their main card's a land, so it's not really going to do much there. But Lavinia counters their stuff and lets us kind of go off. I think we're good here. Yeah, my other version has Ghost Vacuum and the 2-drop Alchemy card that flips. That's terrible. Sand's also pretty bad. This is where I was saying, like, where we want more Overlords, because the hand ends up just being kind of bad cards otherwise. We need kind of more churn cards, because the only way to put cards in your graveyard without the Overlords, I do think I'm going to put another Overlord in. Stone of Erich, it's fine. They can sack for the graveyard, but it's not the end of the world. Get Ketramose going. We just don't have enough fill the graveyard stuff. There's too many reanimate effects, I feel. So we'll trim one, play another Overlord. Have the Omni. We can get Surgical, it's strong. Haywire is fine. I think I have to hold this for Omni again. Problem is we're just not getting card advantage. Lavinia would be good. Diviner would be good. Diviner, discard an Earth probably, or probably another land. They traverse here. They do have Delirium on already. They find their Woodlands for next turn. We did hit the Diviner. I think we do this, just try to find more action. Oh, I should have done a Fragment Reality trying to find Surgical Extraction. That would have been better, because we could have Surgical'd their target instead of getting like another Helping Hand here. That was my mistake. We're learning stuff with this one. It's a little bit of a weirder deck. You have to like consider what you're playing here. So hopefully they don't have like the Emrakul. Oh, okay, so they're giving us a turn. Yeah, we're playing Ulamog in here. But with this, we boarded out a couple copies just because we can steal our opponents. We really need a discard. Psychic Frog would be good. Haywire Might doesn't do too much. They opted to play around it this turn. But getting a feel for it, seeing what works, what doesn't. Might have to just like hit stone here. I have the Ulamog. Hey. Play Emperor of Bones. Gotta go full control here. We got a card draw. We activate, and then we get to swing in. So we played a bit sloppy this game. I don't think they play 1-mana removal. They could have torched the tower, but we didn't really show much torchable. They didn't see the Emperor of Bones. Emperor is just like freaking out right now. Got him. Didn't even let me do the cool thing. I think we run it back. They did bring in Graveyard Hate, so the question is like, do we want our own Ulamogs when we could just eat their stuff? Because drawing this is terrible. I think we play... Play that. 2's fine. I don't want to draw more than 2. Play a couple Thoughtseize. I'm gonna fix this up. I want more Overlords. I don't like the lack of Overlord. Alright, this hand's sweet. So Emperor of Bones can start eating at their graveyard. We have Psychic Frog. We have the Unearth. Looting here. Show me something big. That's actually pretty cool because I can go Emperor and then next turn Psychic Frog and that. They do have the Omniscience here. So because they can... I have to hit Omniscience first because they can Ulamog. Yeah, because even next turn what I can do is even if they kill it this turn, next turn I can just bring it back. So we're going to get the Omniscience this turn. Because they can Woodlands next turn to get Omniscience, but they don't really get much value beyond that. If they kill it, then I have access to Helping Hand, get Emperor back, and then get the Ulamog, and then basically take out all their lines that way there. Looting. They could only dilute their deck, like their sweeper's 3 mana, so they could still have access to it. They would have to sack their creature here. The Ditch Haywire might. Kill this now, then it's okay, as long as it's not exile. The big thing is they don't really have good stuff in the graveyard. Like, there's no Omniscience, there's no Traverse here. Find the Woodlands. Okay, so we are gonna blow up all their lands. Full control. By friend. Let me do it. Let me do it. Content. Let me do it. Let me do it. Just let me do it. Ah. Yeah, so we were going to attack. They were going to lose every card. Their hopes, dreams, everything like that. Yeah, so on the board. Achievement unlocked. Lose the first one, win the next two. I saw that one the other day. Claim our achievement. All right. I do think the one thing I want with this deck is just a little bit more mill. So I think we trim on a helping hand, play another Overlord. I'm back. You end up having like a lot of incidental. I'd like Viconia. Like that's a card we're going to try on the other shells as well, just being another kind of way to eat the graveyard, but incidentally having our dude just kind of eat at their graveyard. They give us all the fodder and we can kind of streamline our deck. So Jengantha is probably Wizards. I think this hand's fine. We Bone Shards. That, play Baelmerk. We do have a lot of lands here, so hopefully hit. Slick shot. Too many lands. Too many lands. That was terrible. And we lost this one. Nine ball. What is that, like 12 lines? Alright. I guess we could have Ulamogged, but they likely have removal. Just bringing the Fatal Pushes here. Bring an Ulamog. So I think it's actually going to be harder to do the Ketramose or the Emperor of Bones things versus Wizards. So we probably take that out and just try to go fair game plan here. Take out one of these and then just have the removal package. Now they could have Graveyard Hate. Let's try it like that. We drew like 7-8 lands that game. Not hitting anything. If we hit like Frog or something like that. I think this is fine. It's a bit annoying. This mills 4. This being their creature is a pain. Like a Wizard's Lightning. Still think we do this. Shove aside. So they were always going to shove aside here. I think we just discard Emperor of Bones to try to get closer to the Oculus. Nah, I'd probably just let this die. Okay, so we have Ketramose for next turn. But we're still a ways away. We'd get back Frog here. I think we're just doing this. Land could be useful later. Psychic Frog's pretty good. Just being able to shrink, yeah, I think that's a really good start. One drop, one drop. Lavinia comes in against mono green and... Sorry, let me just play out this turn and then I will let you know. We're off 14. I could get another Frog here, I can get Diviner, but we're going to play Oculus the following turn. So, just this. So against mono green, against Lotus, anything that's trying to play spells with differing, like, higher mana costs than what they actually are. Those matchups felt terrible. We haven't seen a single fragment, a single fatal push in 2 games now. Like, we milled one over. Can discard some cards here. I guess I should have brought back Ketramose over the second Frog. Just because I'll need some lifelink eventually. So 1, 2, 3. I think we do this. They very likely have a removal spell, but gotta try to bait it out of them. Problem is they also have Flame of Anor. So they should have waited another turn. Because I would have committed more there. They drew 3 removal spells, I didn't draw 1, and theirs is shrinking, so I can't even kind of scale it out. So what can I get back? Ketramose doesn't really do much. I have to kind of hope for Oculus here and Psychic Frog. Yeah, I think you could definitely hedge this matchup, but it's going to be dependent on like what we draw. Okay, Ketramose there is really strong, because if I could flip this, gains me some life back. There's a iteration. I'm not loving this version of the deck. It feels a little too clunky. We'll try out the other version after this. They have the haste for it. Yeah. Because now they hit the thing. They got everything. Because they're going to get Flame of Anor, draw 2 cards, kill my stuff. I don't get a chance with Ketramose. We'll give this one more shot, but it's been kind of awkward when you just like you're not doing looting, which I think the other version's a little bit better equipped. The Emperor of Bones has been reasonable, but at the same time against that deck there, we are never going to Emperor of Bones, really. Like if you think about it, they had 1 mana removal, they have a lot of cheap removal, that it makes it a little bit tough to actually pump through. That's the list we're doing up right now, or right after this one, Mia. I want to play 3 of each and then kind of go from there. Like this hand here, right? Like, doesn't really do anything. We have Frog here.
By a kraken before. 1 drop ripples and grows.
Birds. Card draw. Oh, I forgot to discard to Ulamog. Fragment doesn't really do anything, so we'll wait for one of their bigger threats. Kiora can kind of go off anyways, so... Like, we're getting these weird hands. Let's do this. Think we back in first, see what we draw.
Match you drop for drop.
Ketramose. Okay, like we can kind of go off next turn. If we draw a land, I get the Ulamog. 6 mana, that's going to be Storm the Festival.
Nature flows with vigor.
Hopefully they kind of get a Pour Storm. Okay. I do get a card draw here. Land. Give me land. Give me land. You are not land. So discard Oculus. Reanimate Oculus, discard another card, use this to take out the thing. Not Dredge specifically. Yeah, I missed the discard there. I guess we could have done it on their turn too. I'm missing some lines here. I haven't played with Diviner in a while. So... how many cards? I want to keep that, so we're going to exile 1, 2, 3. And then get Overlord, so... gives me flying. See if they want to trade here. They probably don't. Oh, I missed the exile. Okay, I'm playing bad with this.
Just gonna slip away.
Okay, I've been playing poorly with this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Let's dive right into battle.
Yeah, Soma. I that whole turn I played out poorly. I think we're fine still, but this is one of those decks you gotta play a couple times to get used to all the lines. It has felt smoother this game. Annihilate your board. So in this matchup, I'm gonna want Surgicals and Lavinias. I don't think we want the Ketramose. Problem is if they have Karn, Karn can shut off my graveyard. Oculus is strong here, but if they shut off my graveyard, it's kind of bad. It's a bit iffy because like we do need like the fragments and the fatal pushes for their stuff. Ketramose could be strong. We probably still play full graveyard. Maybe no Thoughtseize. This is tricky. How do we board here? Because we can't overboard, so it's like, do we take out a combo? The Ulamog combo is probably our strongest way to beat them. But mind you, if we go value play, at least the Emperor of Bones can still eat their stuff. So maybe trim an Ulamog. Self-mill's fine. Bone Shards gets rid of bigger things, where Fatal Push doesn't. This is worse depending on the stage of the game. Thoughtseize to take Karn is important, I think. Oculus does kind of get stonewalled at a certain point. Maybe trim one of those. I think Surgical hitting Karn or Kiora or Storm the Festival's important. We can maybe play 2. I do think it's something we need to consider. 7 cards, 7 cards. So Truma Ketramose. Trim. Do that. It's not so much dealing with the graveyard, it's taking out their threats. Because Karn, like if you answer Karn, if you answer Kiora, if you could answer like an early like key card, it does help. Okay, so this is good. Just fragment this. Overlord, potential reanimator for next turn. Or unearth. I'm gonna take Lavinia. Just because if they do go Karn to exile my graveyard, I do want to cast Lavinia. Here are some interesting lines. I can take them off Birds to Paradise and set up the Ulamog turn. So we might just like backdoor into the combo here, even though we trim some pieces. Because mono green doesn't really have a way to deal with Emperor. Yeah, if they're just... $21. All right. So we messed around and somehow won. I don't think that game was any clear indication of how well I played that out. I played that very poorly. Okay, so we went 2-1 with that one there. Okay, so 2-1 with that one there. We're going to wrap this one up for the video.